We're in the Arctic vortex, and temperatures have plunged, and I have been wanting to test out my PROPEX heater in a Teardrop trailer for a while now. So this is my chance, and it's going down to 0 tonight. Video is one of two. The first one is going to be the PROPEX heater, heating a trailer in 0 conditions. I'm going to have a second video which will be small electric heaters on-grid plugged in to see how they work in the Teardrop trailer, what's an appropriate size, what works and what doesn't. Check it out, subscribe, and you'll get updates, and give me a thumbs up. I'm out there roughing it just for you. Hey, hello from inside the trailer. It's a really cold night tonight. It's 5 degrees outside now, and we're supposed to hit 0. So for me, that's cold. I know a lot of people out in Minnesota where it's minus 35 or, you know, minus 60 are enjoying the cold snap more than me. But I wanted to test out this propane heater in the trailer. For some reason, it was 19 degrees when I started this about an hour and a half ago. I then turned on the propane heater, the PROPEX heater. I have another video which talks about that in detail. I just fired that up, literally, and left it out here for an hour and a half while I had dinner. I didn't make dinner behind the trailer tonight. I treated myself to a dinner indoors, and I came back out, and I'll tell you what, the temperature in here is 68 degrees. So it is definitely comfortable, and I'm impressed. I didn't think the trailer would be this good, the heater would be this good. So it could certainly take colder temperatures, and it could hold up. I'm thinking it could do the job. So I'm pretty happy with what's going on. But I'm going to continue poking around the PROPEX site, and what I found was they have a brochure for this HS2000 heater. And that brochure gives you the fuel consumption. So this is important. Listen up, there'll be a quiz later. I have an 11-gallon, 11-pound tank on here. It can hold 11 pounds of propane. And what they say is that this heater, just putting out a lot of heat, 6,000 BTUs, consumes 142 grams, that's weight, of propane an hour. Now that is full duty cycle like now, with the thing running the entire hour. But what happens is it gets cooler, it gets warmer in here. You know, the things that are absorbing heat, like the walls and everything, start to get warmer, and they acclimatize, and it doesn't run as long. I'm going to guesstimate that the duty cycle is 50%. So probably it runs for about 30 minutes an hour. But that's very variable. The trailer doesn't have a lot of heat insulation in it. So it does click on and off more than it did in warmer weather, that's for sure. So I'm just assuming 30 minutes, but let's go with the worst case. So at that consumption rate, running continuously, this should run about 37 hours, between 34 and 37 hours. So that's, you know, that's pretty good. The other propane consumer is the stove, which really doesn't consume that much. I looked that up. It wasn't much. I have a calculation somewhere for how much energy that consumes. I get 2 seasons out of the stove, and I cook a lot. So, you know, I'm not making turkey. I'm making, you know, 2-burner meals, but I do cook. Typical 7-day trip. I cook 5 days, and I usually cook about 2 meals a day. You know, lunch, often nut butter, almond butter, peanut butter. Just saves so much money, you know, something like that. Salmon, whatever, canned salmon or something. But I do like to make breakfast and dinner, and so I don't use a whole lot of propane there. So if you were heading out for a long weekend, you know, and you're going to spend some time in here, you know, That's 4 8-hour days. Let's say you're going to spend 10 hours in here. You could expend your propane in 3 days, 3 nights. Like winter nights like now when days are short. So keep that in mind. 142 grams per hour estimate with this running all the time. That's 100% duty cycle with it running. You know, as it heats up, it'll click on and off, and it'll be a little better. It'll use a little less. So plan for the worst. You know, with that figure, 142 grams, I calculated that one of those green bottles, those Coleman bottles, I forget, I think the one that I had was a 1 pound of propane in it. So that would go for about 3 hours it would run for. So you keep 1 or 2 of those around. You know, 3 hours is not a lot when you're in that night. It's 5 degrees out. But a couple of those, maybe if you're worried about running out of fuel, you can bring some smaller tank. I also have, besides this 11 pound tank mounted on the trailer, I have a 5 pound tank also. That would give me 15 hours or so, 15 or 20 hours. So if I was going to go out and I was really worried about fuel, I just lug that other tank along. It's a little smaller. The Mr. Buddy heater I had put out moisture. When you burn propane, you get moisture. And in a trailer like this, well, the ceiling's quite warm now. The walls are warmed up. It's pretty warmed up in here. I'm seeing no moisture compared to Mr. Buddy. Mr. Buddy, the window steamed up, and it got pretty damp in here. Now, some people, somebody just told me they don't like this heater because it's too dry. Well, I'm willing to rub cream on you if that's the case. So, I'm impressed. You know, dry in the winter is often good. You don't want your sleeping bags to get damp, your blankets. You don't want dripping, which can happen. You know, you read these bigger trailers that aren't as efficient as this one. They start getting moisture dripping down the walls because the walls are cold. Now, you know, each person in the trailer puts out about a pint to a quart of liquid a night just breathing. That's a lot. You know, you walk around here with a pint bottle and spray it on the walls, and you're going to see what it looks like when you're burning propane inside here. The PROPEX is a sealed chamber. Has a heater box much like your heater at home. It's a box split in half. One side has the flames. They take air in from the outside, burn it, and send it out the side of the trailer. The other side, the heat exchanger, the other box has a fan blowing through it, and that's just taking pure heat and bringing it in here. So there's no CO2, no carbon monoxide, no CO, none of that. I do recommend you get a carbon monoxide detector. Mine's in the house. I'm not worried about this thing killing me tonight, but I do have one. It runs on 2 AA's. It's a good thing. 20 bucks. If you're going to run a Mr. Buddy, I'm telling you, get one. Mr. Buddy has a very good reputation, and if it's running right, it won't put out any carbon monoxide. But if it's not running right, it'll put out carbon monoxide. And in a small area like this, things can happen pretty quick. You never want to sleep with that thing on. I got dizzy once with it. It was running out of fuel. I think it wasn't burning efficiently. Could have been user error. Could have been, you know, could have been me. But after that, I bought this. I had Vistabule install this on my trailer. It's an after install. I had the trailer for a while before this was installed. A couple of years. So it's working good. In here, this is where, below this level in here, down below is where the heater is. The panel on top of it is not even warm. It's very warm. I only have this can go, this index can go all the way to the left or all the way to the right for cold or hot. It's right in the middle now, and it's quite warm. So I think this can go a lot hotter if I left it heat up. Small space, heats up pretty quick. I would say if you're pulling over and your trailer is ice cold like it is tonight, you've been driving all day, it's 5 degrees going down to 0, and you want to heat up the trailer, I would give it an hour, hour and a half to be good, and 2 or 3 hours, everything will be really warm in here. You know, the furniture, like this futon mattress. What's still cold is the floor. It's an uninsulated floor, and you put your hand on it, it feels cold. It's getting warmer, but there's no moisture anywhere in here. If this is a regular, if I was burning Mr. Buddy in here and you ran your hands over the wall in this kind of temperatures, it would be wet. Your hand would be wet. This is a lot different than when I camp in a tent in these temperatures. The inside of the tent is covered with frost because of the breathing. Even this is a tent with a fly. It's supposed to exchange the moisture out of the tent, and I'm sure it does to some extent. But when you wake up in the morning, there's frost all over. When you move around, it starts snowing in the tent. So this is a real step up from all that. The tongue box in the front is quite cold. When I open that up and stick my hand in there, it's quite cold, but the doors are shut, so it's not an issue. The tongue box, right, which is no longer made, it's cold in there. It's definitely cold in there. Not heated. What I wanted to point out was the effectiveness of the skylight shade that's being used. It's a honeycomb shade. It's almost a ½ inch to an inch thick, wide, and there's air chambers in there, and they're extremely effective at protecting the interior from the window. When I open this, I just feel cold air literally pouring in off the surface of the glass. Right now the glass is snow covered. It snowed today. So here, having that open, it actually has frost on the inside with the snow on the outside. So that would just be heat lost and cold coming in. But when you close it, it really works good. It keeps the cold out. So you know, because this is a vented heating system, I don't have the roof cracked. I don't have the windows cracked. I have one little ventilation port's opened, and it's I don't really have to worry about asphyxiation with this heater set up. I did find some interesting things. I found over here, this is the door, right? And you have metal hardware on the door, and this door is quite cold, and there's little ice on it, and it's melted now. There's a little bit of moisture on here, just a little tiny bit. I mean, it's not much at all. And there's a little frost down here. I'll see what this looks like in the morning. But the wood around it, which I guess has little insulative properties, is dry. Everything, I'm just looking for wet spots. And the only thing that I found was this hardware, this little bolt that holds on the fender here. Well, here's the bondage straps. They're okay. They're warm. But where are those love cuffs? Okay, but this part here, this little bolt, had a little bit of frost on it, but around it is completely dry. And here's another bolt. Okay, so it's the hardware up here is all dry. Everything else is dry. I couldn't find anything else. Just this one little patch down by the bottom of the door. And the other door is similar. It's just this metal ring around here. Now the upper parts of it, above the doorknob, are dry. It's only a little drop there. It's only down here. It's seeing a little. Now I don't think this is not a problem. This is a reality. Okay, this is a reality. You know, of outdoor cold weather camping. Let's look up here at the front plates. There's no moisture up here. Okay, none down here either. Okay, it's only back here, and you know, Vistabule has these closures which keep water out when you're on highways at 70 miles an hour. I wonder if I close those. Yeah, the door wasn't closed completely. Let me leave it a while now and see if it gets better. Yeah, the doors were open just a tiny bit. I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna pull them in. Let's see how that does in a while. My Spider-Man pajamas are in the cleaner, so I'm just in my my long underwear and my my stylish Batman suit here. And while this is working really good, I wouldn't just depend on this. You know, I have a not so warm sleeping bag with me. It's good for about 20 degrees. If there's a problem tonight, I can easily get to heat. And were I out boondocking, that is out in the middle of nowhere, I would want to have some backup systems, right? I'd want to have my warmest sleeping bag. I have a sleeping bag that's good for 50 below zero. When I bought it, Marmot said it would keep me warm any place on Earth. But I have another one that's good for about 20 below. I'd probably have that bag. And I'd have a balaclava, you know, not just a hat. I have a balaclava in the trailer. That stays in the trailer. That's a critical survival piece of gear in any weather. You want to have a balaclava. It takes up no space. It's warm. I'd have adequate clothing. All the common sense stuff you would do if you were camping. You know, and I have camped in this weather. So don't miss part 2, which is electric heaters in the Arctic vortex. Had some interesting results. That's a separate video. Subscribe to my channel and definitely give me a thumbs up. And what I'll do for you is I will show you the Empire State Building, which is 1 mile away. There it is. If you look real close, you might see humans on the left-hand side there on the observation deck. Well, there it is from Greenwich Village.